Hannah, why do you vouch for racial segregation on your Twitter? So if you follow my Twitter, I did tell you I'm very political. I'm a strong conservative Republican. We're coming to this point where it's just not working like it used to. Like, I feel like me and my fellow white people, okay, so, and it gets really complicated because back when segregation was going on and racism was across the board and we were very racist, I mean, thankfully, right now I feel like the pages are turning, the light switches are switching, everything is being reversed to racism towards us white people, when I know racism was towards all the people of color, especially the black communities. So it's like, and it wasn't that long ago. And like I've told you guys, one of my favorite movies is Hidden Figures, To Kill a Mockingbird. Like, this is where like we ended racism and segregation and all this hate and all of this awfulness, right? And so now in 2023, I feel like and when I say some of these statements, just know that they're not generalized. It is a big portion, but it does not account for everybody. So, like, obviously everyone isn't racist towards white people, and there's still those that are racist towards all the people of color. We're not getting along anymore. Since America is the mixing pot, we literally are. I do not know of another country that is as diverse as America is. They are predominantly like more of one ethnicity than all the others. And all these other countries are like, they have all these strict rules and these guidelines and these policies, and they are trying to keep to themselves. They don't want any outsiders. They don't want for other people to come in and to ruin all that stuff, I guess. And all of this stuff on Twitter is not being shown elsewhere. Not everyone, but there's a lot in the people of colors, because it's not specifically from black people, but there's the indigenous, there's the Hispanic, Asian, but it seems like it's a lot from the black community. They just don't want us to be a part of their lives. They're fighting everything. Like, it's this chaotic mess. And there's so much violence. There's so much racism towards us white people. I'm like, wait, the goal was to like live in harmony and get along, but they're showing us that they don't want it. So that's where I'm just over here going like, okay, so I see a lot of people saying like, well, why don't we, and maybe these are more like, these are bold, I don't know. I'm starting to feel lost with like, I don't know how this is supposed to work, because clearly a lot of people don't want it to. And I do, but I don't know how. So, but I could see because I'm like, okay, so I don't want to go back to the times, because like, I want us all to go to church together and work together and go to the parks together and go shopping together and do everything together, right? But when others are like, no, we don't want that, I'm like, okay, then since you're the ones that are causing this violence, this disruption of peace, you clearly show us that you hate and despise our guts when we weren't doing anything. This is you, and you're putting it all on us. It's like, this isn't working. Something has to change. Something has to give. So I'm like, well, I don't know. And then that makes me wonder, like, should we all go back to our own countries from where we all originated from? And then where does that leave America? Or do we need to go to war here in America, and whoever wins gets to keep it, and then everyone else gets to go back to their countries, our countries? Because it's just not working. And sometimes this is really hard for me because there's so many people that are taking all these words out of context in extreme ways. Like, I literally just saw something on TikTok where this really heavy woman, like this obese woman, is now calling anyone who talks about diets, talking about this whole issue of obesity here in America and weight and just issues like how it's a health deal or whatever, or unattractive, that we're racist. I'm like, oh, how? So that means next, when we have to stop at stoplights, that's racist. If we get a speeding ticket and have to pay it, that's racist. If we have to pay for our groceries, that's racist. When it's time to go to bed, that's racist. Like, when we have some guidelines, when we have rules, when we have things set in place for our own good and for everyone's own good in society, there are boundaries, there are rules for our own safety, for our own good. So that's where I'm like, I don't know. I don't want segregation, but something has to change. All of this violence has to stop that's being hidden from the leftists on social media.